Hello. Okay, good morning. Thank you for your time. My name is Michael McPherson. I'm the Business Development Manager for Sharpstream. I'm joined here by Jean-Claude Morel, International Business Development Manager for Adswizz, and Gavin Richards, CEO and Product Development Manager for G Media. Sharpstream is a leading UK stream provider, and we understand that in order to monetize your streams, they need to be reaching your audience reliably on the devices they use and when they want it. I'll leave it to Jean-Claude and Gav to introduce their companies respectively in due course, but now I'll sort of give you the structure. So in the next 40 minutes, we want to give you a better idea of what it means to generate revenue, monetize your streams. I'll be going through monetization options, the media buyer, audience measurement and targeting, and Jean-Claude will be going through on-air and online together and how they contribute to better radio, online factors of success, targeting, the agency need, FM ad replacement, need to know your audience metrics, and G Media, Gav will be going through websites, mobile apps, the radio player consoles, radio viz, studio interaction, and marketing services. So to start with monetizing options. The two main ways are through premium content and advertising. When we're talking about premium content, consumer faith in purchases online has grown in recent years, paving the way for content owners to really monetize their streams, monetize their audio and video. Pay-per-view per listen is probably the easiest, most straightforward route. Subscriptions, this is able to tie in the end user, get more information on them potentially. One of the major advantages, I suppose, of premium content is the lack of interruptions. As an end user with advertising, they can be quite intrusive and they can cause a decrease in the user experience. There are some market delimitations. Premium content can put up paywalls. So those who don't want to pay for the content, don't want to part with their hard-earned cash, may not want to use the service and look for an alternative. Two examples I've got for premium content is Netflix. Netflix is a recent one for the UK market, competing with the likes of Amazon Love Film. Subscribers will pay $5.99 a month for the use of the downloading the films or streaming the films, should I say, and that's becoming ever more popular. My other example is Spotify. These guys have been streaming premium content for 4 years now, since 2008. And the reason why this is a key example is they've actually been doing this alongside the other option of advertising. So they offer a free service, or at least they have been offering a free service, in which the end users will also get advertising during their broadcasts. Sorry. So, advertising. The three aspects, or a couple of aspects of advertising would be web and in-stream based advertising. When we're talking about web advertising, we're talking about surrounding ads. If your content is being streamed through your site, that's going to be the place they're going to have to go to get your content, so it makes a justified approach to have advertising around there as well. It's a lot less intrusive, I should say, than in-stream, and it enables your content to be monetized through them using your site. In-stream, we're talking about mid-stream advertising, but you also got to factor in pre- and post-roll advertising as well. I suppose the couple of key areas to think about is content control, and by that I mean the advertising content. If you're using a certain free service where you may not have the control over what's being advertised, you could end up bringing your content forward and advertising something that may affect your brand or be putting your end users onto one of your competitors. And of course, user experience as well. We want to make sure that the user experience isn't going to be impacted by intrusive advertising at the start or halfway through an ad. So you've got to really think about when that's going to take place and make sure that's not going to affect them in a negative way. YouTube is one of the examples I use for advertising. YouTube has done a lot for the stream media industry. They are, a fantastic company, and of course, when you do subscribe to YouTube, your videos are subject to the advertising that they choose. That can lead your end users away from your content, or if you're using the same metadata or tags, if you're going straight to the YouTube page, you'll be surrounded by potentially competitor content or something like that. Another example I give is Kiss FM. They developed the Kiss Cube, so it brings back the example I used at the start with website advertising. So they have surrounding advertising with BlackBerry, and this has proved very successful for them. Again, not intrusive. They do have pre-rolls, but they have, again, sold separately, and the BlackBerry are a major sponsor for the Kiss Cube. So, moving on to the media buyer. The considerations for the media buyer go into two aspects. Online only, and and when you're streaming as part of a delivery portfolio. For online only, you can really consider niche markets, or at least the media buyer can consider niche markets, because online only enables content owners to reach an audience that they perhaps might not be able to on the traditional broadcast formats. One thing the media buyer's got to consider when looking at online only is the return on the investment, because there's a tendency for the market to be quite small. So you've got to make sure that's clear and really kind of push forward on the idea that you're having a niche market that a niche audience that they can reach. Another example is going to be the flexibility and the ease of editing. When you're thinking of an online campaign only, it's far easier to chop and change your adverts than it is when you've got to think of involvement traditional broadcasting, radio or television. If you just got online, it's a lot more straightforward. When we're considering advertising in-stream as part of a delivery portfolio, the media buyer will be looking at that as an additional service, whether or not they want to see the separation value in taking, for example, a radio station or a television channel that's currently on the traditional broadcast methods. They're paying for a certain amount of reach for you, and then you're going to separate that off and say online only. You've got to make sure that separation value is clear. A major advantage is, I suppose, cross-platform campaigns. You can be putting an advert on another format and then send your end users towards your online adverts, in-stream adverts, send them to the website, send them to your apps, so you can really make advantage of a cross-platform integration there. But what the media buyer is thinking about mainly is measurement and targeting. Those are the main two aspects, whether it be online or part of a delivery portfolio. So within the UK, audience measurement of non-stream media, at least anyway, has been standardized by the Broadcast Audience Research Board, the BARB, or the Radio Joint Audience Research Limited, RAJAR. So both the BARB and RAJAR use estimations upon surveys, or for BARB in particular, they use a box on top of the television for the selected applicants to use a remote to say what they've been watching and who's been watching it with them, and RAJAR use a survey format. When we're talking about in-stream, there's two options. It's either going to be player-side or server-side measurement. When we're referring to player-side, you have things like social integration. So the measurement will be taken on where they've come from. Tracking is easier. So if they've clicked on the stream from another page, where they're going afterwards. When we're talking about server-side, the measurement will come from the server in terms of platform referral is going to be one of the main advantages of going server-side. If you're picking up from one device and you're going to use another one, it'll be able to identify that from the server, and deployment is definitely a lot easier as well. If you're measuring from the player side, when you're looking to put that platform onto new devices, you're going to have to make sure they're all updated constantly. With a server side, it only happens once. I'd like to now pass you over to Jean-Claude Morel from Adswizz to go into a bit more detail on audience measurement targeting. Thank you.
I need this. Good morning to everyone. My name is Jean-Claude Morel, and I am the International Business Development Manager for Adswizz.
Very well,
I would like to give you some information of our company and what we do, especially in the UK market. And it's a very good opportunity for us to show how our technology can help a streamer to monetize the stream of your customers.
He must be able to know
So
that
our
anyway.
company is a technology provider. We are based in Benelux with development offices in Romania, and we have a corporation in the US. We are a 4 years old company, and we focus on providing technology and platform and services for online advertisement. And what is very important is that we focus dramatically on online radio because we believe that there is a huge opportunity for providing targeted services for our streamers. As you can see, we have some customers in some countries in Europe and the US. And for what pertains to the UK market, we have a partnership with our friend Stream UK, and we have one radio which is using our technology, which is Absolute Radio. Our payoff is measure, target, and monetize. The idea is that, first of all, we provide to a radio a platform for measure the user online. Then we have a platform which helps them to target, and obviously by doing that we can help them to monetize their stream. As you can see from this slide, we are in the middle of the ecosystem. So from one side, on the left-hand side, we have the publisher, so the radio, and from the right-hand side, we have the agency, which are working with the publisher. Our company provides a technology platform to sustain and to implement campaign that, as you will see later, can implement for the radio online a targeted approach, a one-to-one approach, which is obviously very different from the broadcast approach that is from a traditional radio, as you will see, as you know very well. So first of all, we would like we know that in the UK the DAB service is very popular, very important, and so we would like to position ourselves on the online side as a complement to DAB, in the sense that DAB is a more mass-oriented service to provide a coverage, and with the online, with our technology, we can provide a more specific targeted solution and platform to the radio online. And obviously, from our viewpoint, the on-air and online do complement very well and can provide to an advertiser and to the publisher a very interesting way to reach the target they are looking to reach. As we said, we have three parts. The first one is measure, because when it comes to an online service, it's very important that you understand as a radio who are your audience, both in terms of figures, both in terms of geography. As you can see, we can provide in real-time data to the radio from where the users are connected. We can provide also a lot of information that can be used by the radio to understand the audience and leverage in the campaign. And this is the first part. So the first part is to provide a platform which help the radio to understand their audience. Of course, when you have understood and learn about your audience, you can implement what is very important on internet, which is the one-to-one marketing approach. I mean, the big difference with the internet, and of course it's 2012, so it's everyone knows about that, is the fact that an advertiser and a publisher can in real time deliver a one-to-one approach to their audience. And this is extremely interesting, especially with respect to the radio, which, as you know well, has a kind of broadcast approach. At least in some cases you can have differentiated by geography, but in the same geography there is always the same message in terms of advertisement. So we think that targeting is one of the online factor of success. And here I would like to share with you, but you know as well as me, two of the example. One, Pandora, which is a US company, which is obviously very popular since they introduced the way for the site to interact with their audience. And then a second example, which is, I am sure, much more familiar with you, which is the Absolute Radio example in the UK. In the Absolute Radio example, they provide a way to register, very interesting, which is not intrusive, so it's very important, so we welcome this type of approach. And then they also have an approach for which they provide less advertisement to their users, so which is paying off very well. And obviously, from this viewpoint, they can provide targeted content to their audience, both in terms of songs and also in terms of advertisement, as we will see. We, as a company, provide the platform for them to target the online advertisement to their audience. So now, when we want to target, what is the need of an agency? The agency is responsible for going to an advertiser and implement their campaign. Obviously, today, on internet, in the first years, there was an approach of brand awareness. So it was important to have the eyeballs and the impression. Now it's no longer enough because the campaign needs to be done with targeting approach. So you have to focus on your audience and be sure that you can interact with them. So the first need of the agency, you see at the beginning you have an audience which is undefined, and that's the situation that can apply if you don't have any platform to implement this. Of course, now the agency wants to focus on a subset of the audience, which can be found by geography, it can be found by device. You have also the notion of capping, which means that you cannot over-deliver advertisement too much to some people. And this is obviously something very interesting from an agency viewpoint, because they can have advertiser which they want to focus on specific geographic area, or for example, they want to focus only on the audience which is connecting via mobile device instead than from a regular PC. So after that, you can implement also a platform to have some additional information about your audience. So not only from geo, device and capping, which is, if you want, still a little bit of horizontal, because in the same geography all the people are the same, but then you can implement a solution for which you are able to get some information about your audience. For example, in some case, we have developed a solution to integrate with Facebook, in the sense that we can learn from the profile from Facebook and use this knowledge to the ad server in order to deliver in real time a message, an advertisement which is based on that the information that we get from the profile. So now we have a platform that enables the streamer and the radio to target its audience. If you remember, we started from measure, target, and then monetize. So the third part of this presentation is about monetization, which is also the title of this presentation. Monetization is obviously very important, as Michael said before. It's obviously the reason for which some publisher and some company can base the investment, and they can base your plan. So until today, one of the most important way for monetizing the stream is through advertisement. And when it comes to radio, and if you want to stream radio online, of course, the interesting thing would be to be able to deliver targeted message instead of a general message. While today, if you listen to the stream, from the air, okay, in a standard approach, you have the first part, you listen to the content, then you have a cluster, a break from advertisement messages, which are all the same for everyone, and then after that you go back to the content, okay? And this is what happens on air. Online, of course, it is very simple to implement this with the technology that we have, but it's still the basic and the standard approach. As you can see, instead we are able, with our technology, to replace the messages which are broadcasted on air with specific message for the online users. But still, in this case, this slide has a standard type of approach. We have the same message for everyone. What is interesting is that we can provide to the streamer a platform for replacing the advertisement on air, and also to use all the moments in the streaming, like a filler and those kind of things, to increase additional revenue. So this is the first one. As you see now, this standard approach can sustain for the agency a CPM, which is the typical way of counting and selling advertisement online, at a very low rate of a few pounds per CPM. So nothing very interesting from a price viewpoint, because of course you have a message which is horizontal to all the people in that moment. Now, in the next slide, we can see what we can do with a technology like ours when streaming is supporting that. So the first part is obviously the same, okay? But the second one, it's obviously very interesting, because instead of having the same advertisement message, same to all the listener online, which are in that moment, we are able in real time to split the audience and to deliver, and at a single base, I mean, because of course the one-to-one means one-to-one. We are able to deliver specific targeted message to single part of the audience. This is exactly what the agency are looking to get today. In fact, if you can sustain this type of approach, you are able to charge a premium price for the advertisement online. If you remember the previous slide, the price average was 2-3 pounds CPM. This can sustain 25-30 pounds CPM, so which is a factor of 10 times. And this is obviously very interesting. So the idea is that when you have the cluster of the online advertisement, the stream is split in different messages based on the targeting option or the campaign that the advertiser is looking to implement. And this is pretty effective. This is, if you want, the reason for which Absolute Radio is really innovating in this approach, because there is a big challenge, as you can understand, because the idea is obviously to make sure that if you split the stream in different subsets, you are able to charge more. And obviously this is what is happening. And what is important is that the online radio market is growing very much. So we think that this is going to be very important. Okay, I'm sorry, there is no Wi-Fi connection here, but we could see a little bit of the Absolute Radio example. But obviously this is what is doing. For us, the Absolute project is very interesting. We were with Absolute a few weeks ago at the Redefining Radio event, which was in London, and there is a lot of interest and traction in the market. So now we would like to show you some example of monetization of online advertisement platform, since monetization is the title of this presentation. Here we have a first example is a pre-roll player, so something which plays at the beginning of the session. And in this example, it's like I would be a listener of RTL, which is one of our radio customer, which is a radio from Benelux and France, and it thinks to be connecting to RTL from Spain. So as you will see, there will be played an advertisement audio in Spanish, and also the graphic, this advertisement on the right hand side will be in Spanish for these reasons.
¿Estás seguro de que lo que vas a estudiar te servirá para algo el año que viene? Descubre las profesiones del futuro pinchando aquí. Leading Your Future. Leading Nebrija. Universidad Nebrija. La universidad en vivo.
And now the content comes again to the one. So it's obviously nothing very special in the sense that the system of RTL was able to detect that I am connected to the radio from a Spanish IP. Okay, so nothing extraordinary, interesting. But in that case, I get a pre-roll message which is played in Spanish. And if you see the what we call the decathlon message, which is the companion banner, is also in Spanish and can be linked to the audio message. The interesting point is that with innovative technology, the advertiser can reach the audience in an approach which is also multi-channel and multi-device, because we have the pre-roll audio and we have the display. And this is increasing the ROI very much, because people, they get the same type of message from audio and display. As I mentioned before, another example of targeting is due to the device. For example, as you can imagine, in many markets like UK, there is a segmentation of the audience connecting to the web from mobile device. And this segmentation is very important for the advertiser, because typically those people are people which are technology saving, which are very, very good in terms of clustering. And so it is important that the technology that provides the advertisement services can detect this type of connection and act differently because of that. So in this example, very easily, again, we are connecting to Shoutcast.
Living Innovación. Living
And again, we have an audio message in Spanish.
Flexibles que te permiten la doble titulación, programas bilingües y nuevas carreras. Universidad Nebrija, la universidad en vivo.
And this is with one of our customer and partner, which is the IFM in the US. Okay. So in this example, they are able to target their audience based on geography and device. And they are getting a good CPM from the advertiser. Yeah, I think that this is it. If you have any additional question or things, with our partner of Sharpstream, we are in the booth, so we welcome any question and we will be happy to provide any. Also, we could like to show you the YouTube URL, but of course you can see also on the web by yourself. Thank you very much.
Hello. All right, well, good morning. Really excited to be here today. I'm Gav from G Media, and I'm going to talk to you about revenue online, lots of things we're doing in the minute, some exciting stuff. So just to get started, just a quick introduction of who we are. A lot of people don't know who we are. So we are a creative technology company serving the radio industry, okay? And we provide stations with quite a lot of stuff. Some people think we're just a website company. That's not true. We do mobile apps, radio player console. This is a big thing now. Radio Viz, tell you a little bit about that in a bit. Studio interaction and some marketing services as well. And we power all these simply in one place with our content management platform called Airwave. And currently we work with just over 70 radio stations. And this is worldwide, so we've got the UK, mostly in the UK, but also in Ireland, Europe, North America as well now. So that's a bit of an intro. I'm going to talk about monetizing our streams. We work really closely with Sharpstream, and we're big fans of what they do, and Adswizz as well. And we think they've got the streaming side pretty much wrapped up and covered. So I want to cover a few of the key areas that radio stations can monetize online, and where we're seeing some great innovation as well. There's kind of like 4 areas I want to cover, starting out with station-led initiatives, VIP clubs, mobile, and radio player. So first up, station-led initiatives. Most of us, I imagine, are familiar with takeovers. They're a really powerful way to give a brand maximum impact with exclusive use of all the advertising space on web pages. Planet Rock here have utilized this pretty well, and they've secured a really great partnership with Jaguar for their sport content. In fact, Planet Rock weren't even doing sport until this deal came along, really. So the power of a takeover has really given them incredible opportunity to monetize their website. But we're not just seeing this on big websites anymore. It's got the power to do this locally as well. So, we've got the big national ad clients, but Signal One in the Midlands in the UK ran this campaign just recently with Alton Towers, completely owning the homepage of the website and a mini site. And it's really effective at doing this locally as well now. So we hope we can give them the power to do that. Vouchers has been quite a big deal for us in the last couple of years. Stations are using the Groupon model on a local level with some really great results. This is Touch FM in the West Midlands as well. And they've done brilliantly with this. And it's actually allowed them to take on extra staff at a relatively small radio station to work on driving these online revenues. This is Radio Wave, part of the UTV group who we work with. And they're doing a great thing with local directory. So bringing local businesses in with some really strong tools and just really kind of grabbing that opportunity in the local market to passionately promote local business with a proud-to-be-local strategy. And what they're actually doing is recording commercials of the business, putting them on the line, and then charging a premium. And, this isn't hard to do nowadays. People have got iMovie. It takes a couple of minutes. But the radio station can make really great revenues out of this. All right. Next thing I want to talk about is VIP clubs. VIP clubs are great for collecting listener data, learning more about your most passionate listeners, the ones who really want to engage with the station and really want to be a part of the station. It's kind of like, they've actively said they want to like it, kind of like on Facebook in a way, and they want more from your brand. But with the value that you get of some really great data that you can work with and use to target, just like Adswizz have been talking about. So how popular are these VIP clubs? Well, we think that comes down to the content, and that's the value of the club, the content. If you're going to stick a virtual brick wall across half of your website, the content on the other side better be bloody good, Some people think it's better to just ask for the bare minimum, just like an email address, but you can get so much more from listeners just by offering really good content and build up a really valuable user base. Should be the kind of content that presenters on air are really passionate about, and they leave the listeners desperate to hear more. We've all been in the car, reached where we get to, and we just can't leave the car because there's something really great on the radio. And people should be pushing online for this kind of stuff so that by the time the listener gets there and has to register and log in, it doesn't really feel like an obstacle anymore, so they really want this content. Any kind of radio station can do this if they're really connecting with their listeners. We're seeing some great companies who nail this every day, every week. And they're learning so much more about their listeners. Their gender, the location, employment, age. And once they've got this valuable data, they can do some really cool stuff with it, really cool targeting. So emails, sending out a newsletter for a client, let's say, but to a really specific portion of their audience. And the client can learn a lot about the audience that way. Showing really relevant inline advertising around web content. And not a lot of radio stations are doing this right now, but they've got the power, so we think we're going to see a lot more of that soon. And even actually customizing the content of the website so that it's completely tailored to the audience. Also, now we've got mobile. It's very easy to find out where listeners are right now. So we think we're going to see a lot more of location-specific content. So, say, the business directory that I talked about, finding my nearest plumber, let's say, that should be very easy now because we know exactly where listeners are. And then, of course, in-stream advertising, and I think Adswizz have pretty much got that covered. It's worth saying that other media companies, like newspapers, they're introducing paywalls for this kind of exclusive content. A lot of people don't like them. I'm not best keen, but I don't think we can rule out radio stations looking at this model in future. All right, that's VIP clubs. The third thing I want to talk about today is mobile. Mobile is something we take pretty seriously at G-Media. We've got iPhone, iPad, and Android apps. This is Planet Rock on iOS. They've got a really great arrangement with a mobile advertising provider to serve up high-quality ads throughout the app. And we think more clients are going to adopt this pretty soon. But it's not just the big stations that are taking advantage of these opportunities. So here's Compass FM from the Lynx Group, pretty small station in comparison, but they've got an ad running in their mobile app for auto tints. You know, people didn't used to be able to do this, but they're obviously making money out of it, and this is a great opportunity for local radio. And this carousel that we have going around in the middle, that sort of switches around the images, we call this radio viz. What's that? Well, radio viz allows you to have visuals that are synchronized to the broadcast, and then these visuals can appear on any compatible device or application with an internet connection. That's a lot of devices these days. So here's another example. This time it's Dern FM. They've got an ad for a taxi company, and pressing the ad takes you through to the web page with more information. But the great thing is, because this ad is broadcast in the radio viz carousel, it will appear anywhere that that carousel appears. So that could be any compatible radio. You know, there's lots of DAB compatible radios out there that are doing this kind of thing. Literally any device that's got the radio viz technology plumbed in, these images will appear. And so in our case, this includes Radio Player, and I'll come on to that pretty shortly. Here's another great way that stations are monetizing apps. Revolution in Oldham, their weather is sponsored on air and on their website, so it makes complete sense to carry that across to the app as well. And you can see there, they've sponsored their traffic report. The traffic's completely automated. They don't have to do anything about it, but they're making money out of it. So this is really great. There's a few other ideas we've had for mobile possibilities in terms of revenue. You know, we've got takeovers on the web, but I don't think anybody's really nailing this on mobile yet. So that's a pretty good area to look at pretty soon. Perhaps offering like a built-in mini app within the app for a company and using the same targeting techniques. Also club targeting. So we know the data that we've got about the listener from the website, let's say. Well, let's use that opportunity in the mobile app as well and show them some personal content on the move. And location, obviously, you know, we can make advertising opportunities much more attractive based on the fact that the location data is so easily available now. So like sponsored local events, sponsored business directory, that kind of thing. All right, well, the final topic I want to talk about today is Radio Player. Radio Player is the standard player for UK radio now, and it introduced a consistent layout, button, and controls. And it makes listening to radio much easier, and it makes it much easier to discover radio as well through the built-in cross-industry search engine. So here's Dern FM again, and you'll see we've got that same ad for the taxi company that I talked about earlier, and that's because it uses the exact same synchronized radio viz carousel that we've got in the apps. So it's a really great opportunity to reach listeners wherever they are throughout their entire listening experience. Plus a standard MPU spot at the bottom there. Most commercial stations have got that in their radio player. So once you've got an MPU in there, it's a case of how do I work best with what else I've got? And I think Global are doing pretty well with this commercially. Here's a kind of takeover approach that they're using. They actually use the same radio viz carousel that we do, but they've got one piece of creative for the brand, and then a distinct one at the bottom in the MPU with a call to action for liking them on Facebook. And then the background has been tweaked to give the brand more of an impact visually. And then I suppose the sensible thing to do then would be to reinforce these visuals with a pre-roll audio commercial, prompting the user to click through and find out more. So what are the other possibilities in the radio player environment? Well, I think we need to get really creative about this plugin space that we've got to work with. You know, the user has probably closed the radio station website by this point. If they even visited it in the first place, they might not even come through your station website. So the Radio Play console presents us with a captive opportunity to deliver really useful content. And it's a question of how we can present that in the concise space and keep it really easy to navigate. Which information can we give the listener that could potentially be visually sponsored? Weather, traffic, school closures, this is huge now, and events. And there's a great opportunity to display commercial visuals synchronized to the broadcast output with call to actions for the advertiser. All right, well, that's all I've got to talk about. Thanks very much.
Hello. I just wanted to now open up the floor, I guess, to any questions around from the CDN point of view, from Sharpstream perspective, or from the web app and mobile development from G Media, or the advertisement and targeting for Adswizz. Does anyone have any questions on monetizing? Monetization?
Can you explain CPM? CPM.
CPM?
Cost per thousands.
Cost per?
Thousand. It means cost per millum, cost per thousand. For thousand. Yeah, it's the typical way of selling advertisement. So it means that you pay £2 or £20 every 1,000 impressions or contact.
Yes.
Have either of your companies worked on in-stream interactive adverts?
Yeah, we have. This is one of the area where is the second step which we usually implement when we start with a customer. The first flow is to provide just in stream with regular audio advertisement, and the second step is to provide the interaction. It's absolutely, but not only in stream, also in pre-roll and display. Also to give a two-way to the user to insert data, so that we can refine the targeting more specifically. And it's very important because it's a very good way, non-intrusive, no, to let people interact with us. Absolutely, absolutely.
Yes.
Thanks. Now that we've heard from all three of you, could you possibly just say a bit about how the three of you work together? Because it might make more sense now that we've heard from all three of you.
So I guess in terms of how we all work together, Sharpstream are the streaming provider. So we're the we're the CDM, and we will provide analytics on audience. But that is again, I suppose, what Adswizz do as their primary business. They'll give in-depth they'll give in-depth analytics on your listeners or your viewers, and in turn provide the ad insertion or ad replacement services. Now, in terms of what G Media do, we'll be able to take that one step further, and in terms of VIP clubs, on your website, development. Perhaps I should pass on to Gav.
I don't know if this is, Sharpstream we work with for quite a long time as a sort of partner, if you like. So if clients come to us and want streaming, then forward them on to them. People end up at Sharpstream and look for websites and apps. They get forwarded back to us. Basically, that's how we work.
Yeah, while from our viewpoint, a company like Sharpstream is a streamer, so it provides the basic connectivity services to the audience. So we are not providing such services in our company because we take them for granted, and the idea is that with our services they are able to provide a more comprehensive set of services to their audience and to their customers.
No, we as a streaming company, we provide video as well, and much the same for.
Yeah, I mean, it's from our viewpoint, we focus on online advertisement. The online advertisement has three different categories. You have the kind of display, so website, then you have the video side, and then you have the audio. So from our viewpoint, we have a platform which supports all the three, and radio is very interesting because we focused on them, but video is also very important to us because, as you probably know, as you know well, video is the killer application by definition on the web. So I mean, but we started with the display, and it's important to provide a seamless platform which can provide a three-channel way to the advertiser, because it's much more effective in terms of return.
Any other questions? Right, well, thank you for your time. Oh,
thank you.
okay, well, thank you for your time then.